bow, 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 ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da. Ba-da-ba-da-da-da-ba-ba-doo-bow. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Not Tuah podcast. I know. Listen, chat. I know. It's been a while. Okay. I'll be honest. Okay, so one of the reasons for the delay was because the episode that I recorded, the shortest episode ever. You are the shortest episode ever. Um, After I recorded that one, I had planned to do like a special episode with a couple guests, but we couldn't get the timing worked out. But like I was really dedicated. I want to get this episode out. I still do, but I'm okay. God, this has been so long. I've completely forgotten my format. Hello everybody and welcome back to the Not To fuck. Okay, hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Not To podcast. I'm your host, and this is episode number 39, I think. 39. Let me check. Hang on. You know, it's 39. Sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. Actually, wait, I can check it from here, from my phone. Where is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, episode 39. Episode 39. It is currently 2:35 p.m. on the 26th of December 2025. Happy holidays. Merry Crimbus. If you celebrate Christmas, hope you had fun. If you don't, I still hope you had fun. I had fun, I guess I'd say. It's my first time sort of being by myself for Christmas, so I could kind of get into the holiday spirit, without being judged by anyone. So I got myself a little Santa hat. I don't like the way it fits on my head. I don't know why. I kind of assumed they'd be kind of like a birthday party hat. I kind of assumed it would be perfectly conical. But I guess if you look at pictures of Santa Claus, his hat is always kind of floppy. So I don't know what I was thinking with that. Um, what else? I got myself a Christmas tree as well. I ordered it online, and when it got delivered, I think it was upside down. So I mean, it works out because now it looks just like a normal plant, and so I can use that as a little bit of decor for my house. And I binge watched. I don't know if it's a binge watch, if it's two movies. I watched both the Knives Out movies, starring Daniel Craig, directed by Ryan Johnson. They're really good movies. I really like Knives Out. It's a great franchise, in my opinion. I like Benoit Blanc. He's a very fun character. Especially when he drops his whole sophisticated Southern gentleman bit, and he's like, actually, that's the spoilers for Glass Onion. I like when he's playing Among Us in the opening of that movie. That was pretty fun. I like that. God, I miss Among Us. I had a really good play. If I was the imposter and I was ever caught, I'd pretend to be like a whiny little piss baby, and I'd throw the game, and I'd be like, ugh, okay, fine, whatever, you got me. Green is the other imposter. But Green wasn't an imposter. Green was a crewmate. But the other crewmates all believed I was throwing the game, and I just outed the other imposter. So they'd vote off Green, and I effectively get another kill even though I was dead. That was pretty fun. That's a good play. I'm proud of myself for coming up with that play. My life's greatest accomplishment. Number one, Among Us strategies. I miss Among Us, man. I'm sure the games are still popping. I'm sure you can still find a game of Among Us happening. But I feel like it'd be better if you play it in like a voice chat, because you spend so much time typing these. If you're like under 18, I don't think you can even type. I think you can only pick the phrases, pre-selected phrases. That's not very fun. Um, yeah, I think you really just need to have like a voice chat option to get the most out of Among Us. Anyways, this episode's not about Among Us. Forget about Among Us. Yeah, I binge watched the Knives Out movies. To me, I don't care what anyone else says. To me, Knives Out is a Christmas movie. I don't think it takes place around Christmas. There's nothing particularly festive about anything, but to me, it is a Christmas movie. I will watch it at Christmas. It just feels right. It feels right. You guys can watch your Home Alones and your Die Hards and your The Grinches. I'm gonna sit here and watch Benoit Blanc fuck around in like a big old country house, and then fuck around in a big giant Greek mansion in an island, and fuck around in a church. Alright? Knives Out 3 was also very good. Spoilers, it's not really spoilers if you've read the title. This is also going to be the final episode of the year. There's only like, well, as I record this, there's 5 days left, but when I release it, there's going to be 4 days left in the year. So it's my final episode of the year. This is going to be my media review episode, media review 2025. There's going to be a little bit of a change from media review 2024 in that I'm not going to list every piece of media that I've seen this year, because it is. I still remember doing media review 2024. I was fucking miserable by the end of it. Because, I mean, it's like you're gonna sit there for 90 minutes and you're gonna talk about movies and TV shows, and like you don't even like half of them. It's like, what are we doing here, you know? So this year I selected my top 15, or not even my top 15, just the 15 that I want to talk about. It's effectively a top 15, a best of the best, but there is one movie in there that I don't like, that I want to talk about. But yeah, other than that, everything else on the list is something that I would strongly recommend. Maybe not strongly, but I would strongly, just once, recommend them. Everything else on the list. Alright. Before we get started here, I just wanted to. Right. So, apparently, there's a Spotify Wrapped for podcast creators, and I'd just like to take a look at it before we start. Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna look at the Spotify Wrapped for the Not Tuah podcast. I guess I'll fill you in on general details about what I've been up to. September, October, November, yeah, like a 3 month absence almost. I guess I'll fill you in on what I've been up to. That's a tax quarter. I've been gone for a full tax quarter, dude. They're gonna get my ass on my income tax returns. And then we're gonna close it out with media of the year, and maybe I'll discuss the future of the podcast. I don't know. It's tough coming up with. Well, it was tough. I'll get into it. Okay, let's take a look at this Spotify Wrapped for creators. So, then obviously for the Not Tuah podcast, I haven't created anything else on Spotify. Not that I'm aware of, anyways. I made playlists, but I don't think that counts. Alright, here we go. Oh, there's a little little effect on the web page here. You move your mouse and there's a little line that follow. How big can I make this line? As big as I want it. Okay. There's a little line that follows your mouse cursor. That's pretty fun. I like that. I like when websites do stuff like that. All right. Let's take a look. Let's go. 2025. This was quite the year for you. You got that right. Okay. Click on that, I guess. This year, one episode was about. Oh my god. It's gonna be the fucking. Oh my god. If you guys remember episode number 10, I think it was, I had my friend guest star on the episode. His name is Jerry. We talked about Squid Game. Squid Game is not on my media of the year. It didn't make the top 15. Spoilers. We talked about Squid Game, and I think we talked about rapping. Anyways, he's been fucking gloating. If my accomplishment in life is an Among Us strategy, his accomplishment in life is getting like the top played episode. His episode was the top played because he went and he sent it to like 50 of his friends and they all watched like 2 seconds of it. But the numbers still went up, so he's claiming that he's pretending that he's responsible for the episode. So this year, one episode rose above the rest. It's gonna be that one. It's yeah. Oh. 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 Let's go. Your 2025 top episode, Not Tuah podcast number 20. What does Taylor Swift eat? Played 77% more than your average episode. I guess, hey, clickbait worked. Clickbait worked. I put Taylor Swift in the title on purpose. I think that was the episode where I pulled up a list of like 10 celebrities and I was trying to prepare a meal for each of them. I think Kim Kardashian was in there. I gave her like white rice because her house is bland, white, and boring. I think something like that. I don't remember what I gave. I don't remember what the other celebrities were. I don't remember what I gave Taylor Swift. It is surprising, and it's not. Again, clickbait. I think the clickbait worked. Okay, hey, that's like, thank God for that. I finally have something to dethrone Jerry with. Okay, what's next? Your listening passport got a real workout. Oh, this is my top countries. Okay, okay, 4 countries reached overall. So my podcast has been played in 4 countries. Okay, let me guess. India, obviously, because I live there. And Jerry also lives here. He watches a lot of the episodes. Canada, shout out Lenny, shout out Erica, big fans of the podcast. They're definitely on here. Canada, the entire country's on here. Maybe Australia? I know I have at least one listener in Australia. Maybe 2, but they use an RSS feed. So I don't know if that counts for my Spotify stats. India, Canada, Australia. Maybe Germany? One of the guests for this fabled episode that I've completely stopped my podcast for. One of my guests is from Germany, so maybe they've listened to an episode or 2 to try and get the vibe, try and see what to expect. I can't think of anything else. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna log it in. I'm gonna say India, India, Canada, Germany, Australia. 4 countries. Let's take a look. Your top countries, number 4, United States. Los Estados Unidos. Who would be listening to this podcast in the US? I can't think of anyone. Unless does it call Canada? Why would it sound Canada as well as the United States? I don't think it would. Number 3, Australia. Yep. Number 2, Canada. Okay. Number 1, India. Yeah. Not surprising. Okay, if you're here from the United States, who are you? Because I don't think there's a single American. I thought I knew my entire audience, but apparently not. Someone in the U.S. It goes without saying your fans have great taste. Here's what else they're listening to. Ooh, I get to judge you guys. Top artists, Azalea Banks, The Weeknd. That's probably me. I've listened to a couple of my own episodes, just to like see what's up. So Azalea Banks, The Weeknd, Purity Ring. I know who that is. Elevation, The Wiggles. The fuck. So I have this. Okay, someone in my audience is listening to The Wiggles enough that it made my top five artists in terms of fans. That's yeah, that's interesting. Very. Who the fuck's listening? Who the fuck is listening to The Wiggles? Is it the same person that's in the United States? Do I have like an American 6-year-old listening to my podcast? The Wiggles. Top shows, The Joe Rogan Experience, number one. Is this like global? Number one, The Joe Rogan Experience. Number two, No Such Thing as a Fish. Number three, Miss Me. Number four, The Lex Friedman Podcast. Number five, Diary of a CEO. Is this like worldwide or? No, because Miss Me is with Lily Allen. No one's listening to that. Unless, hang on. Spotify top podcast. I think I said it again. Spotify top podcast 2025. The podcast charts. Let's take a look. Is there nothing for worldwide? There isn't. Number one, Joe Rogan Experience. Number five, okay. No, I don't think. I think this is specific to my audience. Who in my audience is listening to the fucking Joe Rogan Experience? Okay, I'm going to pretend they're not the same person. It's an American 6-year-old who listens to The Wiggles and Joe Rogan. Let's take a look at India. Hang on. India's top podcast. Raj Shamani is figuring it out. Never heard of that. The Desi Crime Podcast. I've listened to a couple episodes of them. Yeah. Sanatan, like Eternal Way of Life. Josh Motivational Podcast. Why am I pronouncing it so weird? Motivational, whatever. Top number five, Rockin' Robin by Netflix. Okay. A lot of religious stuff on here. Whoa! Whoa! Number 13, Personal Experiences, Hindi Adult Stories, Sex Stories. Number 14, Sexy Talks in Hindi. Number 15, Indian Sexy Stories. Wow. Guys, check out r/Gone Wild Audio if you're listening. If you're listening to Indian Sexy Stories, the podcast on Spotify, check out r/Gone Wild Audio. It'll change your life. Stories of Mahabharata, Horror Time, Horror Podcast, Anime Grind, Rotten Mango, stand-up comedy by Pranav Sharma. Listen, the Joe Rogan Experience is back again. Imagine if I was on here, just below fucking Indian Sexy Stories, the Not Tuah podcast. Diary of a CEO, Spotify Tips plus Tricks, not the podcast. Okay. It's like the top 10 are kind of actual podcasts, and then sort of mid 10s, that's where all your gooners are listening, and then below that it's all either religious or it's like kids stories. There's another one, Prem Katha Sex Stories, Hindi romantic stories, only for 18 plus. Only for 18 plus. Remember that. Unfortunately, I am not here in the top 100 podcasts listened to in India. We'll get there one day. We will get there one day, Chad. Who the fuck is Theo Vaughn? He's in like the top 10 in every. Hmm. Okay, whatever. Where was I? Alright, my Spotify Wrapped. Okay, so yeah, someone in my audience is listening to Joe Rogan, the Lex Friedman podcast, and it's all the same guy. I'm sure it's all the same guy. Joe Rogan, Lex Friedman, Diary of a CEO, whatever. Okay, and okay, you might want to frame this. What am I framing? A 2025 binged show. 40% of your listeners streamed two or more of your episodes in a single day. Hey, I'll take it. A 2025 marathon show. Fans listen to you for longer than 53% of it. That's actually a very good stat. Listen to you for longer than 53% of other shows. It's like, I'm engaging, chat. Wow. A 2025 talked about show. I've received more comments than 86% of other shows. I've noticed that I listen to two podcasts on Spotify, but I listen to them a lot. They don't call for comments. Mostly because they're on like actual podcast platforms. I upload exclusively just like directly to Spotify and YouTube. So I call to the comments more because I know both of those platforms have comment features. I used to do polls as well, but they took away my ability to do polls for whatever reason. So that does make sense. I do encourage comments. I welcome them and I read them. I try to read them if Spotify lets me. Most of the time it doesn't let me because I'm in India and we don't deserve comments, I guess. That it? Yeah, that's it. The Not Tuah podcast. Your year, your fans, your story. Let them in on the win. Share. Top country India. Top episode. Top 5 countries. Fans top artist was Azalea Bank. Got my 3 awards there. Um, you know what? I'm good. I don't think I will share these because then that'll be a spoiler for this episode. Okay, so there's my Spotify Wrapped chat. My real Spotify Wrapped, like my personal music Spotify Wrapped. I had The Weeknd at number 1, Berry Blue at number 2. I don't think I've talked about Berry Blue on the podcast. I think Tyler the Creator was number 3, Travis Scott was number 4, and Girls B was number 5, who you'll remember because I had a 2 podcast episode arc about Girls B. Okay, so let's discuss what have I been up to ever since my hiatus. Truth be told, it was an unintentional hiatus. I didn't plan to stop uploading episodes. It just kind of happened. Like I said, after episode 38, I wanted to put out a guest episode. We just couldn't get the timings to work out. I still want to do it, as I mentioned. I think it's going to be a good episode for me. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to have fun doing the episode, and that's what matters. We just couldn't get the timing worked out, but I thought for sure it was going to happen, so I didn't have anything planned for the week after episode number 38. So I had to skip that week, and then I thought we were going to get it done again. So I thought, okay, well, I skipped 1 week, but it's up next week. We can do that. And the timings didn't work out again, and that just kind of repeated and repeated. And then sort of mid to late October, my father arrived. There's a whole story there. My father wanted to get my brother to start studying in an Indian school for his high school, his last 2 years of high school. He wanted him to do it in India. Horrible idea. I wouldn't recommend it. And I mean, I guess they listened because he's not here anymore. But no, they got him enrolled in like a local school. Not local, it's like 15 kilometers away. But they got him enrolled in the school. And they, he's like, everything's going. He's taking like tuition classes and whatnot. So I didn't really want to do episodes of the podcast while he was here because I don't know if you can tell, but I swear like a fucking sailor on this podcast. If you're the 6-year-old that's listening to the Wiggles and Joe Rogan, maybe cover your ears. Yeah. Um. But yeah, so I didn't feel like comfortable doing it. I mean he's 17. He knows what the word fuck means. Um. But it's you know you never really stop thinking of someone as your younger brother. Um, so I didn't feel right kind of cussing in front of him. Even though I have before, I do regret it. I don't like doing that in front of my family. Um, so I wanted to like try and figure out sort of fix into a routine where I could have like an hour or two to myself just like to ramble, and I don't think I ever got a consistent schedule because his schedule kept completely in flux. It kept changing, so I was never able to appropriately carve out the time like that. Um, and so there was that, and then in like November, um, early November, I think, early November. Oh my god, I need to drink some water. It's been a while since I've talked to myself like this. I've forgotten how to do it, I guess. Some ASMR for you. Okay. Um. Yeah, he went back to Saudi Arabia in November. I don't know why. I think my mom just missed him or something. Cause he went back. She's trying to get me back. I don't particularly want to go back to Saudi Arabia, but if it makes her happy, I can spare a couple of days over there. What else? Yeah. So by that point, by the time he left, I'd already like stopped doing the podcast for 2 months. I was like, man, it is kind of hard to come up with topics for the episodes. Like if you look at my first couple episodes, I talk about things that happened in my past. So I had like 21 years of life experience to just pour out into these episodes. And then a lot of the episodes were about what I was doing at college, what I was doing in class, why did I say it like that? Kind of my weekly academic goings on. But I haven't been going to class that much. Well, okay, I have been going to class. I have been making the 10 kilometer one way commute to my college, and I get there, and then they just don't take classes. They don't do lectures. Zip, zero, nada. They don't do anything. And so I didn't want to, spend all that time and effort to like get there, to just sit on my ass, maybe read my textbook. I could read my textbooks at home. It's kind of what I was approaching it as. So I didn't like stop going, and I mean I think I made the right call because like I think I can count on my hand, on my little fingies, my 10 little fingies. I think I can count the number of classes that have occurred this semester. So what are you gonna do? When I joined this college, they told me that as the degree goes on, as you near the end, people uh, stop taking the classes like seriously. They kind of blow them off. I always assumed they were talking about the students blowing off the classes. Turns out they were talking about the professors blowing off the classes. One more semester, man. One more semester and I'm out, hopefully. Unless something goes catastrophically wrong. One more semester, 3 months. 3 months. I got my finals end in February. The next semester probably starts in March then. March, April, May, June. Yeah, next summer. I'll be out of here before the next Marvel movie. I'll be out of here before the next MCU cinematic release. How wild is that? I've got nothing to look forward to until then. Wow. I think we were supposed to get Blade, weren't we? The Blade movie, was that supposed to happen early 26? Maybe. That movie's been delayed so much. I don't think it's happening. It is not happening. At the moment, it's not happening with Mahershala Ali, the current actor for Blade. Because isn't he causing a lot of problems? He doesn't like the script. Something like that. He was, I think he was causing like a lot of the delays with that movie. So I don't think a Blade movie is gonna happen. Like period. If it is gonna happen, I think they're gonna find a different actor. But I mean, hey, we know how allergic Marvel is to recasting actors because they went with Doctor Doom instead of Kang after Jonathan Majors got arrested for domestic abuse. Just hard pivot into Doctor Doom, which is tough because I really like the Kang storyline. I wanted to see it completed. And then Doctor Doom, people say he needs a lot of build up, which I don't know much about Doctor Doom, I will admit. So maybe he does. He does seem like a very important character. So to introduce him and then potentially defeat him in two movies, Doomsday and Secret Wars, I don't know about that. Technically, I guess they introduced him in Fantastic Four first step. Whatever. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing. Um. So yeah. Where was I? Yeah. Not. So I guess it's not 2 months. I guess it's more like 6 months, and then I'm out of here. 6 months and I'm out. 6 months. That means my degree ends in June. I've been looking at options for my master's degree. If I get into a master's degree, I want to do it. It's really tough because my heart wants to do it in the US. I want to live in New York. I want to be like Ted, not exactly like him, but Ted Mosby from How I Met Your Mother. That's the kind of, again, not exactly like him. That's still on that. Um, but I mean, the New York lifestyle, man. Rent controlled apartment, cool roommate buddy to hang out with, hitting the town every night. That's kind of what I want, but I don't think it's feasible anymore. Um, I don't. You're not gonna make rent in New York. If you are, you're gonna live in a shoebox with 50 other people instead of one really cool roommate. You get 50 dickheads and maybe one kind of cool guy. But the coolness of that guy is diluted with those 50 dickheads, you know. You won't have the money to be able to hit the town every night. Um, it's tough. It's heartbreaking, genuinely heartbreaking. But I think I have to accept it. I don't think the US is like the best option right now. So I've been looking at going to Australia maybe. I've heard plenty of good things about Australia. Um, and I think I looked at a couple universities in Australia. I think I can get into them with my current GPA and whatnot. I think I'm eligible, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I have to, for one of these universities at least, you have to apply through a consultancy. You can't apply directly, which I think is fucking insane, but that's the policy that they have. So I'm gonna try and meet with the consultancies in the new year, kind of get the lay of the land. There's a, what do you call it? They call it an exposition, but I don't know if that's the right term for it. I'll just say whatever they call it. There's an expo for Australian universities happening on the 10th of January. I might attend that and see what's up. But yeah. This is supposed to be at the future of the podcast, but I turn it into the future of me, which arguably more important, but also you guys don't care about it. Right, future of the podcast. I think I do want to go back to uploading episodes more frequently, but like I said, it is harder to find enough topics to kind of fill out a full 45 to 1 hour episode, 45 minutes to 1 hour. That's kind of what I like to aim for with my podcast. So it's getting hard to find the topic to fill out that space. So moving forward, I might aim more for the 30 to 45 minute range, and the uploads will be less sporadic. I don't want to go on another 3 month hiatus, trust me. But maybe not every week, maybe once every 2 weeks you guys will see an episode. Maybe I'll do a 1 week gap, maybe I'll do a 2 week gap. It just depends on how I'm feeling that week. So, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say no more weekly episodes. Then just so that whenever I do decide to do an episode, it'll be hopefully good. Maybe I just don't want another like 22 minute episode. I really don't like that episode. I feel like I didn't do good. I feel like that's not my best work, and I just don't want to repeat that. So yeah, shorter episodes, more sporadic episodes, but hopefully better quality episodes moving forward. That's the sort of rundown there. Okay, so coming up next is the media review segment. I'm gonna do this again, top 15. I'm gonna spend maybe like a minute, maybe 2 minutes, just talking about each thing and giving it a recommendation score. I'm not gonna give it a score. I'm gonna do a countdown, 15 to 1. So just a quick 2 minute little blurb. Maybe for some I'll speak more passionately about them. I will be discussing spoilers for these entries. So if you plan on experiencing these medias for yourself, which I strongly recommend, I would just stop listening. But if you don't care, which as I suspect a large portion of my audience probably won't, or maybe a large portion of my audience has already consumed these medias. Either way, you can listen. It's really number one. Is the major spoiler one. So you can listen to 15 to number 2. Number 15 to number 2, that's fine. You can listen to that. Number 1, if you haven't consumed it already, I would maybe stop the podcast here, go consume it, and then come back and listen to my thoughts on entry number 1. All right. Here we go. Okay, at number 15, we have Five Nights at Freddy's 2, the movie. This is sort of the only really bad one in my top 15, which I know doesn't really make sense, but I wanted to talk shit about this movie. It is a bad movie. We all knew it was going to be a bad movie. We knew it wasn't going to win an Oscar going into it. But I wanted to watch the FNAF 2 movie because I wanted to watch FNAF 2, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, as a movie. I think the first movie did not a great job because a lot of it was spent in his dream status, but I think the first movie did a good job at sort of establishing the atmosphere of the first Five Nights at Freddy's game. It did feel like how Five Nights at Freddy's 1 felt as a game. FNAF 2 did not do that. FNAF 2 kind of failed fucking miserably at that. Because, okay, when you think about Five Nights at Freddy's, the series is about haunted animatronics in a pizzeria, right? This movie, the majority of this movie does not take place in a Freddy Fazbear's pizzeria. What the fuck do you mean? What the fuck do you mean it doesn't take place in a pizzeria? It doesn't take place in a pizzeria. The animatronics themselves aren't haunted. They're controlled, remotely controlled. It's not possession. I remember discussing this with someone. They were like, "Oh, they were possessed by the puppet." It's not. The puppet had remote control of the animatronics, and so they were being possessed by a human ghost, not the puppet marionette animatronic being possessed by a human, an actual human ghost that looks vaguely like the puppet. That is such bullshit, dude. How do you fuck up the core premise of Five Nights at Freddy's? How do you fuck it up like that? What? I just don't understand. I will never understand it. I guess the little circus baby Easter egg was pretty cool. I remember not audibly because I was in a theater, but I remember physically swipe-hogging when Circus Baby showed up in the movie. There was a little 10-year-old kid next to me. I don't think he knew what was going on. He used his phone a lot during the show to take pictures of the various animatronics, of the various jump scares in the movie. Was the movie rated 16 plus? How did he get in there? Yeah, whatever. FNAF 2, the movie, unfortunately, I have to give it a thumbs down. I do not recommend FNAF 2. It's the only one in my top 15 that I do not recommend. I just wanted to talk shit about this movie. Alright? Alright. Let's move on. Okay, up next at number 14, we have the Thunderbolt. This is Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad, which is just a band of villains, perhaps. Maybe not villains, but characters that aren't really considered heroic, kind of forming up to form a team that does something vaguely heroic. I think I talked about this when I in the episode of the podcast I got after I saw the movie. That's just the plot of Persona 4. The plot of Persona 4, the sort of the antagonistic force of the movie, which is the Void, held inside Bob the Sentry. I don't know his last name. This antagonistic force that forces people to confront the worst, darkest versions of themselves, and they have to defeat it through the power of friendship. That's literally just Persona 4. That being said, it was a good movie. It didn't feel much like a Marvel movie, which I know some people really welcome that change. I guess it was alright. I knew the characters. If this was its own separate universe, I don't think I would have been very invested in this movie. But because it's these characters that I know, that I vaguely like, it was a good movie, I guess. It is a reason it's at number 14. Alright, it's not my favorite. Alright, up next at number 13, we have The Conclave. This is a sort of drama I know I said like that. Drama. It's a drama movie starring Ralph Fiennes, which I'm a big fan of The Menu, which is another Ralph Fiennes movie. What else has he been in? Am I just a fan of Ralph Fiennes in general? Hang on. Ralph. I know he was Voldemort in the Harry Potter movies, but Ralph Fiennes' filmography. Let's take a look. He was in Conclave. He was in The Menu. He was in the Grand Budapest Hotel. I didn't particularly. Grand Budapest is fine. It's it's a Wes Anderson movie. I'm not a big fan of Wes Anderson. I think the whole kind of, oh my god, I have a symmetric shot and I use a pastel color palette. I think it's kind of overdone. But the Grand Budapest is the one Wes Anderson movie that I make an exception for. He was in. Huh, okay, that's it, I guess. He's been in plenty of other movies. I just haven't seen any of them. He was in Wallace and Gromit? Hell yeah. Okay, whatever. Ralph Fiennes, good actor, good movie even, The Conclave. This movie actually came out in 2024, but I watched it because the Pope died in 2025. Can you imagine how the cast and crew of this movie felt when the Pope died? Because it's like everyone's gonna be watching this movie now. You know that can only be good for them. Yeah, in case you didn't get it, really, the conclave is about the super secret electoral process that happens to select a new pope, um, and the tension and the drama that comes with such a prestigious position being at stake. It's a really good movie. I recommend it. Number 13. I might actually move it a bit higher, but I can't be bothered to like sort out all the other media on here. 軽い気持ちのヘビーなとこも Up next at number 12, we have Girls B, the French Operation. I've made a couple. The whole episode was about them, but I've discussed this album in a couple episodes. Mostly, I discussed it because I wanted to figure out what the French part was in one of the songs. But beyond that, it is a great J-pop album, J for Japanese pop. Great J-pop album, very infectious energy, just makes you want to get up and dance. I will say, maybe there's just an issue with me and my poorly maintained ears. At some point, the singers' voices do get a bit sharp and they do hurt my ears a little bit, especially in the first song, Mais Non. It's not actually the first song, it's the second song technically, because the official physical release of the album, which, 1998, I think it was, physical releases were what you were doing. And they had an opening song and they had a closing song, which for some reason is missing from the streaming releases. But, and yeah, whatever. Anyway, that song, the voice gets a bit sharp, I don't like it, but everything else, good album, great album, J-pop. If you never heard of it, if you're a city pop fan, maybe, I would definitely recommend this album. And I feel like the band, the duo, deserves more than they got. I will say that.
Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
Up next at number 11, we have Guillermo del Toro's take on Frankenstein. So I do host a little award show for my sort of Discord server every year. And this year, Frankenstein actually was the winner of Movie of the Year. I did submit my own sort of entry for Movie of the Year, but I also deducted 2 points from my entries to account for personal bias. So, following those deductions, Frankenstein came out to be the winner with, I think it got a 8 out of 10 maybe. Yeah, Frankenstein was a great movie. I loved the approach of sort of telling the movie in two distinct halves from two distinct points of view. Um, I liked, was it Oscar Isaac who played Dr. Frankenstein? Let me check. It's either Oscar Isaac or it's Joaquin Phoenix. I don't think it's Joaquin Phoenix. Yeah, Oscar Isaac. What has Joaquin Phoenix been in this year? I know he was in Joker Folie à Deux, 2025. Oh, he hasn't actually done anything in 2025. Alright. He's done 2 movies, but those are like not blockbusters, so who cares? Yeah, great movie. I like the choice of telling it 2 different POVs. I like the setting of Victorian. I think it's in Germany, maybe. It's not England. Maybe it's in Germany. I thought the dynamic between Victor Frankenstein and his father was interesting to observe him at play. Yeah, just a very good movie overall. Would recommend. Okay, up next we have at number 10, Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery. This is the 3rd installment in the Knives Out franchise. I like this better than Glass Onion, which is the second one. I still think the first Knives Out is my favorite, but I like the mystery, I like the solution, I like the characters in the movie. The setting is very interesting, although it's kind of similar to the first Knives Out. What else? I do like how Benoit Blanc kind of offered mercy to the killer, because he knew she was like actually at the end of her life. He was like, whatever. It's like whatever. He wasn't like that, but he didn't choose to call her out in front of the whole congregation. That's nice with a little bit of humanity. The whole backstory with the what they call it, the harlot whore. That was very interesting. The victim, I think, in the first. Yeah, well, you don't really care. Nah, you don't really care about the victim in this case. Harlan in the first movie, you didn't really get to know him that much before his death. Fucking Dave Bautista's character in Glass Onion, he was kind of a dickhead. I was kind of honestly glad to see him die. But yeah, I guess you don't really care about Dave Bautista. Okay, I know this segment is about Wake Up Dead Man, but I do want to talk about Glass Onion. She just like blew up the house at the end, but Dave Bautista's body was like still in the room when she blew it up. So like, what happened there? I can't really talk about this too much because it is a mystery movie, and I don't want to give out. Shit, I think I did, didn't I? Because I just said the killer was an old woman or whatever. Even if you know that the rest of the movie is well worth a watch, especially trying to figure out how the main gimmick of the story was pulled off. That was interesting to see it happen. I don't know if it's viable. I don't know if it's realistic. I don't know if that's how it would go down in real life, but it was interesting to watch. Up next, at number number 9, we have Superman, James Gunn's take on the character. This was a very colorful, very fun movie, very lighthearted, didn't take itself too seriously. And because of that, it was easier for us as the audience to sort of step into the world, believe it, understand that, this could actually happen. I saw this the weekend before I saw. Okay. That might be a spoiler, actually. Yeah, Superman is a great movie. Lex Luthor is a great villain. David Cornsford. Isn't David Cornsford kind of under fire right now? A little bit of controversy surrounding him. I actually don't know. I just know people have suddenly turned on him after non-stop praise for the movie when it came out. Those 2 weeks when Superman and Fantastic Four were in theaters, that was probably the best fortnight of the year. Superman would recommend, definitely. Up next, we have the first TV show on the list. This is Severance at number 8. Severance, for those unaware, is a sort of mystery, drama, sci-fi kind of TV show about 4 workers at a company where they have some technology implanted into them that sort of separates their personal life and their work life. And the whole show is sort of about figuring out that's not what the show is about, but I want to find out what the company is doing, why they've decided to sever these people, as it's known. Severance, there is a season 3 coming, hopefully sometime within the next 10 years, maybe. I'd appreciate that. But I decided to toss it in here because I watched seasons 1 and 2 and I really liked them. Adam Scott is a great actor, but it's weird because the only other thing I've seen Adam Scott in that I remember anyways, I saw him in Parks and Recreation. And so seeing him go from that to the character he plays in Severance is quite phenomenal. Yeah, Severance gets a thumbs up from me. Up next, at number 7, we have our next TV show, which is Pluribus. Funnily enough, this and Severance are both Apple TV Plus originals. So I'm starting to think, maybe Apple TV Plus is the streaming service to subscribe to. Unfortunately, the issue is this is with Severance and Pluribus. I don't know if this is the deal with all of Apple TV Plus shows. These are prestige television shows, so it does take a lot of time and a lot of money to make a new season, let alone a new episode. I think someone's screaming outside my fucking... Okay. Yeah, I'm sure it's fine. Yeah, Pluribus, great show created by the creator of Breaking Bad. So there's a bit of an interstellar effect happening there, where people say they like it because they like the guy who made it. But Pluribus is actually genuinely a good show, unlike Interstellar. I do have to say the fucking advertising campaign, the marketing campaign that they did, didn't it trigger schizophrenia in a bunch of people? That was insane. But I mean, could you have seen that coming? Should you have seen that coming? Is that something that you need to consider when you're preparing a marketing campaign? I don't know. I certainly would never have thought to consider it. So I guess can't be too hard on the Apple marketing division. But yeah, Pluribus gets a thumbs up from me. All of these do. That's the fucking point. Except Snap do. Pluribus, but it's good. I recommend it.
Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass. Don't tap the glass.
Up next, at number 6, we have Tyler the Creator, Don't Tap the Glass. Um, a surprise drop from Tyler. We weren't expecting an album this year. Um, I guess it's not really a surprise drop because he announced it like 2 weeks, 1 week before it dropped. It's not a shadow drop, but it is a surprise. Again, we weren't expecting an album from Tyler this year. And dare I say it, this is top 3, top 4 maybe? What albums do I think are better? I think Igor is definitely better than this. Igor is hard to beat. I know people keep jerking it off, but it deserves it. It's a good album. Igor is pretty hard to beat. Flower Boy is pretty hard to beat. Call Me If You Get Lost. There's some fat to be cut from Call Me If You Get Lost. Wolf, maybe? Point is, Don't Tap the Glass is some of Tyler's best work. I really appreciate the sort of bouncy, dancing sound that he went for with this album. I could have done without the last song, kind of killed the vibe. You can't have the album on loop because of the last song, in my opinion. But, Ring Ring Ring, perhaps my song of the year. I love that song, dude. It's so good. What's the song I think now? Stop Playing With Me, that's also pretty good. Don't Tap the Glass. Great album. Top 3 Tyler, top 4 Tyler. His Coachella, not Coachella, Camp Flognaw performance was also great. I know it's not really completely what we're talking about here, but I would feel like I hadn't done my duty if I didn't point out that his Camp Flognaw show was very good. Up next, we've hit our top 5. At number 5, we have Uh-Oh by Berry Blue. Berry Blue is a new artist that I've discovered this year, similarly as with Girls B, the French Operation. I would have described this album as bedroom pop, but Spotify describes it as bubblegum pop, which does make more sense. That being said, Spotify's genres in general don't make sense. But yeah, this is bubblegum pop, sure. It's a very bubbly, sure, that's the word for it. Bubbly, kind of fun, relaxed, chilled out little album. It's short-ish. I prefer albums to be in the 45-minute to 1 hour range, but quick, bite-sized experiences. Tyler the Creator, Don't Tap the Glass, was also like 30 minutes long, I think. Quick, bite-sized experiences that you can just throw on whenever it's convenient. That's great. I love the song Blue. That's probably my number 3 song of the year. My number 2 song is coming up. Berry Blue, up-and-coming creator. She's gonna be huge one day, I swear, maybe, hopefully. She deserves it. Great artist, great album. Not a big fan of her work before this album, but, I mean, artistic growth and whatnot. Number 5, Berry Blue, Uh-Oh. Up next, at number 4, we have, quite fittingly, I swear I didn't plan this, the Fantastic Four, First Steps. Chat, I genuinely teared up in the theater in the opening montage where they were fighting all the villains. That teardrop escaped my eyes, I'll say that. This paired with Superman kind of saved the summer, maybe saved comic book movies in general. Probably not. They were not going anywhere without these movies, but they're really good, really colorful, very fun. I love the dynamic between all 4 actors in the Fantastic Four. The the actor who played Galactus, what's his name? Ralph Einstein. He did pretty good. Although I don't know why they chose like an actual. I mean, I guess I'm not complaining because his suit looks fantastic, but they did build like a full ass practical suit for him. When I mean, they had to do a bunch of CGI on him anyway because he's so much bigger than everyone else. So that one, it's the filmmaking process. I'm not gonna question it too much because the end product that we got, definitely my personal movie of the year. Honestly, maybe the best movie Marvel has put out in a long time. Is it the best one since Avengers and Infinity War? Because Endgame wasn't all that. Endgame relied on hype moments and aura, but on a rewatch, it's not all that. There's some TV shows that I think are better. I think the Loki TV show is better than this movie. I think the Moon Knight show is better. But in terms of movies, I think this might have been their best work. And of course, the Doctor Doom post-credit scene, mid-credit. That was fun. That was good. That was great. I love being in the theater. This is why I watch these Marvel movies in my theaters. I want to hear people cheer. I want to hear them whoop. I want to hear them hoot and holler at these epic reveals. I also took my siblings to this movie, and coincidentally, we were 3 boys, 1 girl, exactly like the team. So we took that photo of like Reed Richards with his hand doing the 4, and then everyone kind of like next to him. That was a nice photo. Yeah, Fantastic Four. I would say it's pretty good. Up next, at number 3, we have quite possibly the biggest, not quite possibly, definitely the biggest time commitment on this list. We have Doctor Who, the TV show. Now, I'm only including the reboot here, so 2005 and onwards. It is such a good show. I love it. It is sci-fi, it's hard sci-fi, but I think they handle it pretty well. I like seeing the aliens, I like seeing the humans in the future and the past. I like seeing the vast cosmos. I love beholding the beauty of our universe through the eyes of this TV show. Some of the best television I've watched has come from the show. That being said, it is quite a commitment. And it is quite a commitment. You don't have to watch everything from 2005 like I did. I just had nothing better to do, so I decided to start from 2005. The show does a pretty decent job, I'd say. Decent job at like catching you up. The constant rotation of their assistants is definitely helping with that, because the assistant is kind of the audience stand-in. So when the doctor has to explain something to the assistant, he's basically explaining it to the audience. So that definitely helps. I really want to save my thoughts on Doctor Who for this eventual Doctor Who episode. I don't know if I mentioned, that's the special guest episode I've been trying to schedule, is about Doctor Who. So I want to save my thoughts for that episode. That being said, if you have like 3 months, it took me longer than 3 months. If you have 4 months to sit down and watch this TV show, I would highly recommend it. And here we go at number 2. It is The Weeknd, Hurry Up Tomorrow, his perhaps farewell album, mayhap. I dropped an entire special episode of the Not Tuah podcast on this album, So if you want to further hear my thoughts, I think I go track by track in that episode. If you want to hear more of my thoughts, go listen to that. Opening Night is my favorite song off of this album. That's my number 2 song of the year. And actually, I would like to take this moment, I would like to make an amendment to what I said during my special. I said the middle of the album is kind of dead space and it could be cut out and it'd be fine. I no longer stand by that statement. I think the album is very strong, beginning, middle, and end. No weak points, no dull moments. The only point that I would say work against it are its length, because it is almost an hour and a half long, I think. So, and it is designed as like a cohesive, sit down, listen to it all the way through experience. So I understand that can be kind of, not everyone's cup of tea, Doctor Who reference. But I truly think this is The Weeknd's magnum opus. I think this is the best album he's put out. That being said, I personally prefer After Hours more, and he's definitely going to be remembered more for After Hours. But Hurry Up Tomorrow definitely deserves its flowers. And there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. My media of the year. My favorite piece of human artwork that I've consumed this year has to be Persona 3 Reload. I love this game. What can be said about it that I haven't already said? Well, I've said plenty of things about the game, but none of them really on this podcast. I haven't really discussed Persona 3 on this podcast, but it is such a good game. I love the Persona franchise as a whole. Persona 3 is definitely a standout entry in the franchise. That being said, I've only played 5, 3, and a little bit of 4. Not a little bit, I'm like halfway done with 4, I think. Persona 4 actually doesn't hit as hard as Persona 3, in my opinion. Please don't kill me. Please don't crucify me. Yeah, dude. I love the story. I love the characters. The gameplay is pretty good. I think I still prefer Persona 5 gameplay to Persona 3, but at the same time I can understand it is unfortunately a victim of being a video game from the mid-2000s. It's called mid-2000s for a reason, chat. I really don't want to discuss too much about this game because to me the most impactful part of the game happens when you know how it ends. The ending of the game sort of shows everything in a new perspective, and I would like to further expound upon that point, but I unfortunately can't do that without spoiling the whole game. Maybe when I'm done playing Persona 4, I might do a retrospective on the whole game, a special. Even though I said I'm not going to do specials anymore, this is going to be a normal episode on Not Tuah. But yeah, man, Persona 3 Golden, no, not Golden, that's Persona 4 Golden. Persona 3 Reload. I cannot recommend it enough. The Persona 3, I've said this to several of my friends. When I die, it will be in my will that everyone I've ever met gets at least a copy of actually Persona 5 has been cracked, hasn't it? I have to amend my will. Everyone who I've ever known in my entire life gets a complimentary copy of Persona 3 Reload. They just have to play it. It's a non-negotiable. If you don't play it, I will come back as a ghost and I will haunt you. Alright? Alright. That being said, Persona 3 Reload, it does have one flaw. For whatever reason, they got rid of the female protagonist. With, I don't know game development, but I don't think it's that big an issue. They certainly could have done it. That's all I'm gonna say on the matter of the female protagonist. Um, but so yeah, that's all I have to say about Persona 3 Reload. Let's. It's a good game. Definitely play it. Would recommend. And that's it. That's our list. Um, I guess we'll call it here then. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for coming back after such a long hiatus, unexplained even. That is, if you came back at all. I don't know. This might get 0 views. But yeah, happy 2026. Happy New Year in advance. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas in advance. Not in advance, in delay. Yeah, man. I guess I'll call it here. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for listening. This has been episode number 39 of the Not Tuah podcast. That's NOTTUAH. I have no affiliation with Haley Welch or the Talk Tuah podcast team. I've been your host, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye, everybody.